Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 9th of October 2021. I want to give a message of hope today, and also I'm going to recommend a couple of videos as well. But whenever I talk about what I'm about to talk about, I always get comments and messages saying, Tim, you're crazy. There's absolutely no way we can win this thing. You know, the other side have got it all sewn up. They've got all the resources, all the money, all the influence, and how on earth can we fight against it? And I agree, when you look at it from a logical point of view, when you just sort of use your head and look at things, which I'm prone to doing most of the time, got to admit, you do come to the conclusion, or it's very easy to come to that conclusion, that there is no hope. But that's not how I feel deep inside, deep in the heart, deep in my gut, gut feeling, whatever you want to call it. It just tells me the opposite. It tells me that although there might be some tough times ahead, ultimately we are going to win this thing, and everything is going to be revealed, and we will be proven to be right. And I certainly hope that happens, and I hope it happens kind of sooner rather than later. And there are little signs that kind of say to me that I am on the right track with this, and it just seems like everything is getting ridiculously crazy at the moment. It does seem like the other side are panicking, that they are getting desperate. There are signs of desperation. Why else would you be wanting to give a certain treatment to people under a certain age when they stand almost no chance of catching certain things, unless you are getting absolutely desperate? So this is just a gut feeling in me, and I know that many people who watch this, maybe including you, feel the same. You sort of know in your hearts that the other side are getting desperate and that they are approaching the end game. And part of the reason why I think this is happening is through this process of the Great Awakening. I do think more and more people are sort of realising there's something deeply wrong, not only with the current situation, but with the situation generally. And we've got a lot of work to do. And yes, there's so many people out there still asleep, isn't there? Including the two people I've talked about in the last couple of days on my videos who have said they're going to get number 3. And so people like that are definitely still fast asleep. But there are a lot more people awake now than there was 3 months ago, than there was 6 months ago, than there was a year, 18 months ago. And there's just more and more of us all the time. And I think the reason why a lot of this awakening is happening is through social media sources, alternative news sources, things like, just to give you a very quick example, Project Veritas, but there's many others like that as well. I mention them because I'm going to be mentioning and recommending one of their videos in a second. And I just think that we are playing our part in this great awakening. Every time we make a video, every time you share a video, you share a link, you share a document, even if you're not even a whistleblower, I'm not talking about whistleblowers, I'm just talking about ordinary people just sending videos and links to the next person, giving them a bit of information they didn't know beforehand. And I'm talking about things like that video I put out a couple of days ago, recommending that you watch the film Monopoly. I didn't know the world was organised like that until just, well, not that long ago at all. Maybe you didn't know it was organised like that until yesterday or the day before, whenever I put that video out, and whenever you watched Monopoly. Who knew? And there's lots of people that I know many people watching this have forwarded that video on to quite a lot of other people. So that is just one small example of how we are waking up to how the world is really run. And every time we do these things, it's just pushing it further and further along to that tipping point, which I feel is coming up, and it's possible, or probably some way away just now, but I do feel it is coming up, and I do feel that this Great Awakening and us reaching the tipping point of the Great Awakening is inevitable, and there'll be a bit more about that in a minute as well. But just continuing the Great Awakening in whatever small way I can and we can, watch the latest Project Veritas video. Thank you to the sort of guys who sort of gave me the link to that. I did have it in mind to watch that, but you saved me a job sort of hunting around for the video, so that was fantastic. Now, the latest video features a lady who is a whistleblower. She is, until very recently, an employee of one of the big V companies, the one that starts with P. And she was privy, she accidentally went into part of the company website that should have been private, I think, and came across a series of emails between senior executives talking about the fact that their big V is derived from certain things, well, basically, well, I won't put it into so many words, but we'll talk about the people who, or the babies who have been sort of killed before being born. So you know what I'm talking about there, and the fact that parts of them were used to develop sort of the big V. So that's what they're talking about, that's what this lady is talking about, and these emails are basically admitting that has happened. So it's not sort of any kind of false, fake news. It is 100% true, and it also details how these executives of this company are trying to cover it up as well, basically, because they don't want this getting out, because if it does, it will be very easy for people to claim certain exemptions to certain things on religious grounds. But I wouldn't say it's even religious grounds, even moral and ethical grounds. And even if you're a vegan and things like that, and if you've got a problem eating cheese, I'd have thought you'd have a problem taking something into your body that has been developed in this kind of way, I'd have thought. So there is going to be a lot of ways in which this can be sort of played with. But remarkably, this video is on this platform. I don't know for how much longer, so it might be wise to watch it sooner rather than later. So I'll make it nice and easy as usual. Link to it will be in the comments section and in the description box below. So please do go and check that out if you haven't already. I think you'll be amazed at the video, and share it far and wide as well, because it is all going to be part of this great awakening process. And speaking of that, I'm going to finish this today with a really hopeful message. And this is, again, it's on this platform, so link to it will be below. And it's called Military Insider it's from a channel called Inspired, and it's called Military Insider. They panicked when they saw the future. And it kind of ties in with what I was talking about a few minutes ago about my gut feeling, how we can win this and how we are going to win this. It's almost inevitable, and it's due to something called the Great Awakening. And what this guy, and I don't know who he is, but he sounds like, from the title, the guy who used to be in the military and American military and privy to a lot of top secret stuff. And he is talking from personal experience, and he was basically talking about how sort of the Great Awakening, as he calls it, is inevitable. And the little analogy he said is that I don't play chess, but it's like two chess masters. They're playing chess, and the loser, who are the bad guys, they know they've lost the game, but there's several moves they can do until they're totally checkmated. But they know they're going to lose, and that all they can do is prolong the game for a little while. And then the winner, who are the good guys, the likes of us, we also know, kind of, even though it's like a gut feeling, that we are going to win this. And it's just a question of carrying on. And the way he puts it is that it is inevitable. The bad guys will try and prolong it, but they know they'll be defeated within 7 chess moves, and all that can happen now is continue into the end game and until the final defeat on their part arrives. So that's the best I can explain it. Probably haven't explained it very well, to be honest with you, but he explains it a lot better in that video there. So I will put it in the description box below. And between both of them, it's only half an hour watch. The Project Veritas one is 20 minutes and the other one's 11 minutes. So, but I think once you've watched both of them, you will be uplifted, which I don't know about you, but it's something I really needed today. So I'll leave it there, let you go and watch those now, and I'll be back tomorrow. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.